Hello, I'm Robin Gibson and this is the Harvard House Money Morsel. Welcome back, thank you for joining us again. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell so you get a notification of when we're releasing a new video. I'm sitting with a new visitor to the studio today. Robert Poole is our latest director and shareholder. Welcome, Robbie.
Thanks, Rob.
So Harvard House investors will be familiar with the fact that our statements and how we report to clients has changed a lot over the last number of years. That is really Robbie's brainchild, and I thought it would be great to have him here to talk about it. So Robbie, what are the key areas of our statements that you would like to point out? I'm sure investors have noticed them, but I'm sure you'd like to draw some attention to them and why they were put in.
Sure, thanks, Rob. I'd like to just start off first by saying we have a very dedicated back office that makes sure that all transactions are processed and reconciled every month so that our statements can go out. So as important as the design of the statements is, the fact that we've got the team working behind the scenes to actually deliver them is equally important. But in terms of the few points of our statements that I'd like to maybe point out, when we started revising the format or the layout of our statements a couple of years ago, the main focus was trying to link our investment philosophy to the various tables and charts that are in the statements, because our investment philosophy is so central to everything that we do at Harvard House. So, like you said, I'm sure a number of our clients or investors are familiar with the statements, but just to draw attention to a couple of the items. The sort of second or third page of the statements is titled a since inception analysis, and that's to really try to drive home a long-term mindset in our clients. So it's looking at the portfolio performance and returns and income, etc., since the inception of the portfolio right up until the current time. And it's to try to drive home the fact that we aren't speculators, we aren't trading on a short-term basis. There's a long-term financial plan in place, and those charts are trying to tell the story of what has happened over the years to get to that point. Then another critical aspect of our investment philosophy is the focus on generating a growing sustainable income flow. So we have a huge focus on dividends that shares pay and the ability to grow from year to year. So the income generation chart really tries to illustrate that point where income should grow from year to year as companies are able to grow their profits and therefore pay higher dividends. And one sort of neat feature that we've done is stack the market value chart on top of the income generation chart to almost illustrate the fact that income returns, such as dividends and interest, are actually separate to capital returns. There is a long-term correlation between the two, but in the short term, markets can move up or down, but income is generally a lot more stable and predictable. So we like showing those two charts, one on top of the other, to almost show how those trends can sometimes move in different directions for certain periods of time.
Sure, that's very interesting. So I want to pick up on your early point. You said we have a dedicated back office team, and we do. They spend probably the longest hours here. Can you talk, I mean, many people might not understand this unless they come from an accounting background, but one of the things that makes our system so important is that it's a double entry accounting system. How does that give the investor peace of mind that their statement is accurate and we are actually reporting what's happening on the ground?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Rob. So often when people hear accounting or double entry, they maybe glaze over and lose interest, but I'll try keep it interesting. It really is the source of peace of mind within our system, that every single thing is reconciled every day or every month before statements go out. So the fact that we have a double entry system, it means that we process a transaction based on what we understand to have happened, and then we import the transactions directly from the bank account as well. So there's almost two sources of information: our idea of what should have happened and the bank's idea of what did happen in the bank account. And we make sure that the two correlate. Sometimes we'll put through a dividend because we're sure that that's what we're going to be receiving, but it doesn't end up arriving in the bank account.
Yes.
The system flags that immediately, and we're able to follow up and ensure that the client does receive the dividend
Yes.
that they are due.
So it's a real belts and braces approach to managing client statements.
Yes, no, it really is.
Okay. So I think the key in terms of that double entry accounting is that if I understand it correctly, the statements are actually created out of the transactions, not out of some valuation that we think it should be.
Yes, we don't just receive what we would call holdings files from the various product providers and just import them into our system. We actually process every single transaction.
Yes.
And what you see on your statement is the culmination of all the transactions since the inception of your portfolio up until the current date.
Sure. Robbie, the other one that maybe I wanted to pick up on was you've introduced this idea of, I think a lot of people, if they had multiple products, they got multiple statements every month. But you have put together the consolidated statement that everyone enjoys. Obviously, with a follow-up every quarter, I think they get the detailed statement for each. How accurate is that consolidated statement relative to the transactions? That's also transaction-based, isn't it?
Yes, it's calculated in the exact same way. It's just a consolidation of all the individual transactions adding up to that consolidated statement. So we released that probably about 18 months ago for clients to get every month, and we really feel that a lot of our clients struggle to see their big picture all in one place, especially when you're getting maybe 3 or 4 statements in a month. You're looking at each one, getting caught up in the detail and not able to see the big picture. We feel that's one of the biggest value adds that a qualified financial planner can help you with, is they have the ability to step back and see the big picture and pull everything together for you and to make it make sense. And the consolidated statement is one of the tools in their toolbox to help illustrate that fact to you.
Yes.
Then just to add to that, we've recently developed what we refer to as the group level statement, where we can actually assign multiple clients, so for example a husband, wife, their children, possibly even a family trust, to a group, and then we can report at a consolidated level for that group. So that I'll call the ultimate big picture view, where you can see on a single statement everything that's going on within your family unit. And so we aren't sending those out on a monthly basis yet, but if people are interested in getting that, they can discuss it with their financial consultant and we can set up the group.
Fantastic.
And start doing that.
Fantastic. Well, I think it's high time that we let Robbie go back to his little grotto in the basement. No, he's not really in the basement. I'm only kidding. Robbie, thanks for all you do, and I hope that you've enjoyed us bringing you closer to some of the rationale and what happens behind the scenes. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.